beginning of Belletéin. Well, end of Belletéin, but the day
He's
after.
at the house feeding his hangover. Got an
As you can
invite,
see, the
too,
party
I
was
think.
wild.
Is Geralt
It even had an
hangover?
effect on Geralt.
Can he get hangover?
Woman.
I mean,
No,
he can
not
get
really.
tired.
He can be tired.
Yeah.
But
Strange
in
as
classic
dreams go.
form, you lose a friend on a big night out.
What was that?
That's exactly
It's
the
usually
deal.
everyone else who gets a hangover.
But yeah, we just talked about how important Belletéin is, but can we actually go back to like the very basics? So when and where the story takes place? Without like big spoilers.
Without big spoilers. Let's start with where. So,
I can talk about the where, exactly.
okay.
Let's go.
So it's the whole thing plays out in Lеттен, which is the birthplace of Dandelion. It's in the north, somewhere halfway between Covid and Cadeven, for all you map nerds out there. If you go to the Gulf of Praxeda and take the Buina River to the east and take a right on the Nimnar River, on the other southern shore of the Nimnar, you will find this lovely place that you get to have a
Sounds
beautiful
kind of
glimpse
familiar.
about. But it's in the north if you want the short, the LDR version.
So I guess we can now go to when.
So, the events of third expansion unravel after Geralt hoped to retire at Corvo Bianco, but then yet another adventure unveils. So this is what I would share for now. And then, of course, he has...
Really, really great vision elements that we want to cater to, but also enable the player side of exploration, not just the story side of exploration. So we are an open world RPG, and we are going to stay true to that in Songs of the Past as well. And we want to make sure that you are enabled to explore, but guided gently towards elements of the story, so you can still experience it as we sort of intend, but in your own pace, if you understand what I'm saying. So it's directed, but gently, and lets you engage in open world activities while you're already invested in a greater storyline unfolding. So it's still up to you, but nicely framed. And this, I think, was one of the biggest challenges still, which was the biggest challenge in the original game as well.
And I guess on that, Peter, what, as players are sort of taking in the world and the architecture and all the work that the team has done, what's something that you really hope that they'll get to see and immerse themselves in, and maybe like the finer details?
Well, there's going to be a lot of beautiful stuff and a lot of characteristics that you can experience, and they are going to be obvious. But I would like the players to pay attention to the second layer of this whole world, which is the level design intention. I'm speaking towards my department, of course, because there's a lot of goodwill and greatly skilled intention behind every single pebble, every single asset placed to basically enable what we mentioned earlier, this kind of gentle guidance to make sure that you see everything that we intended you to see, but still let you roam free in the most convenient and accessible manner. So whenever you're on any path, you're enjoying any interior castle, dungeon, anything that you engage with, if you have a moment to appreciate all the good intent, the framing, the composition, the colors, the lighting, do yourself a favor and pay attention to that, because there's a lot of professional skill and effort that went into every square centimeter of this new world.
Yeah, I think while we traverse through Lettен, could you tell us more about the inspiration? Because I already see in comments that it looks like Italy, it looks different than what we're used to. So maybe a few words about creation of Lettен.
Right, so we still wanted to keep this character of Lettен that is very close to our fond childhood memories of holidays spent at grandma and grandpa in the countryside. So when when exploring Lettен, when entering Lettен, you should feel that from the get-go, right? This is a very calm land, an idyllic land, a rich one, but also mornings are fresh, right? You can see the crisp light traveling on all the vegetation and like shining on you through the leaves, and you can actually feel it that it's peaceful, it's there. So it's familiar for the Polish countryside, I would say, but also, as we can see right now, we also took some inspirations from British Isles when it comes to architecture, and it has a further connection to the lore, to the story of this place, because Dandelion, whose family is the owner of the land, they are counts, right? Mm-hmm. So as we were looking for something connected with the title, and it has many rooms and corridors, so there is a lot of explore and many secrets.
Okay, so far we showed you a little bit of the sunny Lettен, but it also has woods.
Oh yes,
dark woods.
Lots of it, yes.
Lots of dark woods. Can we maybe talk about how you guys approach designing this contrast between super sunny village and then dark forest with like fog and all that mystery around?
Yeah, this was an exceptionally tricky thing to pull off, and I bet it's the trickiest part of every game that tries to illustrate values through contrast, is how to blend like one extreme into the other extreme. But with clever framing, composition, and distancing and density and encounters and community design and every single component, it's manageable. But you have to be mindful, of course, how you conduct the journey there, how you can end up from one place to another like accidentally, and make sure that the things do not happen like that unless you intend them to happen like that. So it is kind of tricky, but it requires a lot of testing and a lot of iteration, of course, and subtle play with colors and, of course, expectations, how you set up a certain mood with shapes that bleed out into the surrounding environment a little bit sooner, just to like set the mind in that kind of mood earlier with the smooth transition. So everything happens in good rhythm and pacing.
Yeah, beautiful. As a side note, well, though, that we want to dive into to start with, one of them is Thornbloom.
Yes.
So, as you can see, while we have some gameplay going, we're going to have a run-in.
Well, this is not actually. I mean, this is obviously a variation of an Archispore, right? But as you can see during his attacks, this is not your regular Archispore.
Bit different.
Yeah, this is something that has been born in the Garden of Thorns, so you know it has to be special. And as you can see, there are like new attack patterns, new VFXs. This is, by the way, you can already see the remaster improvements in VFXs, which are mind-blowing in my opinion. And yeah, so we have. Let's go back to the monsters.
Yes.
But I mean, I could actually add a little bit to that.
Go.
Yeah, basically, our reference for this one was based
Different
on
combats. So I would say, depending on what your playstyle is, but our main, main focus in creating a boss fight is to always create a challenge for you. So yeah.
We have a little glimpse of Swarmions again. Boom!
Getting beheaded. That's my favorite finisher right there.
More Swarmions. I don't think I'm gonna like those guys.
Yeah, a little freaky.
Well, it is in the name, Swarmions. They swarm you, right? So there's gonna be a lot of them.
Too in depth, got something that you're just cannot wait for people to experience?
I mean, Kuba stole my answer. Like,
No, I didn't steal it.
Have
It's
these beautiful patterns that are sort of so intricately stitched into the clothing.
Well, Len will probably say more about this in a second, but it's not only about the outfits. It's also about the architecture, about the foliage that you see in Lettен. We were trying to create a land that is very consistent in how it looks and how it feels, but also a very distinctive part of the world, that you can feel that this is a very distinctive part of the world. And things that you see on their clothing are, when you play the game, you will see that those are deeply connected to their traditions and to their folklore in this particular area. But yeah, I won't take more of your time. Len, you have more to say about the patterns and all the hard work that went into designing this clothes.
Say it runs both ways.
Yeah, so basically with regards to patterns and how we generally like approach like embroideries or even decorative things that you find in furniture and just like the whole world creation. If you look back to several different cultures, they usually reference stuff that they see, whether it's in nature, whether it's in their trade, and reflect it into their art. So when it comes to Lеттен, they are pretty much famous for hops, for dragon, for horses. And all of these are pretty much brought back into the artistry that you will find in, pretty much furniture, clothes, and it keeps the world consistent this way.
Yeah, even if you notice, like her chair, there are hops cones behind her, you know.
Wow.
So many details.
Yeah.
So many cool details. How did you actually ensure that the characters and the whole world feels really authentic to the entire Witcher universe? Because we had Velen before, we had Tucson, and now we're in Lettен, right? Completely different, new world to everyone. So how are you guys making sure it all feels connected and right?
Well, it's obviously hard. Like, it's obviously the effect of hard work of many people in many departments. All of those different sides, like, you know, Len said that the embroidery is taken strictly from the fact from the things that they do in the valley. But when we were designing this at the very beginning, we asked ourselves the questions: okay, so how many people actually live in this valley? In this valley, so how many villages we have? How many villagers in the village? How big is the brewery? How many horses do they breed? Like, how many sheep you need to breed to keep everybody fed and still have sheep to sell? And from those very mundane, everyday questions came the picture that you see on the screen, because the devil is in the details, right? And if you put your mind and eye to such detail and your attention to it, the longer you work on it, the more details appear in your art and in your quests, in your dialogues, and, you know, in the characters themselves. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite amazing. It's like economics being thought into this world to output art.
yeah. I mean, you know, this is the MO that CD Projekt always had.